Hello and welcome back to the Nightmare on X Street. I am your host, Andromeda Jones. This is a safe place where women come to talk about their nightmare ex relationships, past spouses, husbands, boyfriends, whatever it may be. We come here, we talk about it, we tell our stories. We don't judge in the comment section. We uplift one another and just get it out. A lot of times women hold their peace when it comes to relationships where they were done wrong. Verbally, physically, emotionally, any type of way where a woman has been violated. So we tell our stories. And without further ado, I will bring up my first guest and allow her to introduce herself. Hello.
Hi, I'm Elo Copeland.
Nice to see you, Elo. I look forward to hearing your story. So we just dive right in over here. So I'll let you first tell us anything you want us to know about yourself.
Okay, I'm an actress and comedian. I am in Atlanta, and look for me on the big screen.
Absolutely. So we're going to start off with the first question I always like to ask. How did you meet this person?
Instagram.
Okay. Social media. Got it. So when you met this person, did they come into your DM? Did you go into theirs? How did the conversation get started?
If I can recall correctly, they came into my DM. I was at an AC3 event a couple of years ago, and they saw me in one of the posts in front of the at the red carpet, and kind of followed me from there and was liking a bunch of my stuff, and then jumped in the DM and was just like, hey, where are you located type thing.
So how do we make it from the DM to the face-to-face?
Okay, so the DM was a few conversations, and then it became phone calls. He wanted to exchange phone numbers, and the first face-to-face, I flew to his town, which is up north, because this was
Quick question first.
Yes.
What did he say in the DM that got your attention to make you say, okay?
Honestly, I can't remember, but my thought process during that time was just kind of like, what else are you going to do right now? It wasn't necessarily something he said. It was more so of where I was mentally, and me just moving to a different city and just trying to make friends. And then the conversation became about hip hop, because that's a whole different discussion, but it was about that.
Okay. So we make the connection. We go from the DM to the phone to the visit. How was the first visit and what happened?
So the first visit was, I'm not going to hold you. It was awesome because I had never had this. Now, mind you, I'm a church girl. I got to get that out because a lot of people think that women's supposed to know. And when you were raised sheltered, you don't know anything. So anything that looks different from what you're used to is going to look extreme. It's going to look, bigger than what it really is, because it could be normal to somebody else or beneath somebody else. But to us, being very sheltered, not really getting used to certain things, it's just like, oh, this is new. This is different. He brought my favorite flowers. Not my favorite flowers, my favorite color flowers. He brought yellow roses when he picked me up from the airport. He just couldn't stop touching me and giving me compliments, and it was just like, oh my God, what is going on? He's like, I'm just so excited you're here. We're gonna have a good time. Like the whole drive to his apartment. Then we went to dinner, and it was just kind of like, I don't know. It was just, he never really picked up his phone. He was very attentive. It was just so different. Like he purposely was like, this is all about you weekend type stuff. We went to a basketball game. It was more of a celebrity basketball game. People who know me and know that person knows where this was, but we did that. met some of his family because they're very close. I have to say this, they're Haitian, so they're very close. Um, yeah, like this.
Okay. So weekend or however long you stay goes great. You fly back. What is the conversation from there?
So the conversation from there went to I I I want you to be my girl. Like it was more of, I mean, do you want to be in a committed relationship? And I was kind of taken back because I was like, we just spent a weekend. Like it wasn't, and mind you, I don't believe we had sex. I don't recall we kissed, but I don't recall, anything before we actually got committed. And so I remember asking why. And I don't know why I asked why, but I just said why. And he's like, because, I feel like you're a good person. Da, da, da. And I was like, okay, if you feel like you're ready for that, I don't really see why not. I'm not talking to nobody serious right now. So that's how that conversation happened. And then he wanted to FaceTime every single day. Every single day. Everywhere he went, everything he did from work, when he went to his mom's house, when he went to his sister's house. I remember telling him specifically, you don't have to do this. I didn't ask you for this. You don't have to like FaceTime me every time. You don't have to FaceTime me to check in on me. He's like, no, I want to. I want to see your face because we were long distance. So he just made it that point of FaceTiming the entire time. Another thing that I want to point out is that when I was up there, he had a nonprofit event that he did. And this is where it gets interesting because his ex was there and I didn't know it. And it was some sort of youth program. And I remember one of the kids was just kind of like emotional and I went to go embrace him, gave him my phone number and was like, listen, if you want to talk or whatever, here's my number. I don't know you, but just, because I see teenage girls and my heart go out to them. So that was the conversation. But little did I know that his ex was there and she had been following his moves that night at the event. And so when she saw me, she made it a point to stay around me to see, I guess, what he did with me or whatever. So sorry, hold on. So we go to the store, like we leave the event and someone was saying something sarcastic. I can't remember what it was, but it was a couple of ladies when I was coming out and I happened to turn around and I didn't think nothing of it because they kind of like looked away and I was like, these people don't know me. I'm not even from here. I get in a car with him. This is the same weekend. I get in the car with him and excuse me, sir. I get in the car with him and his friend calls him, who was also there to help him coordinate the event. And so they have this conversation. He just kept saying she. And I was like, what's going on? We end up at the grocery store. He gets off the phone. And he says, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what? And he's like, my ex was just at the event. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And he's like, yeah, I didn't know she was going to be there. She was friends with such and such, which is one of his relatives. And she just happened to be there. And I was like, how did she just happen to be there? Like, what? And I said, who is she? Like, what does she look like? And he started describing. I was like, that was one of the girls at the door that said something sideways. He was like, why did you tell me? I said, well, what? How am I supposed to know they were talking about me because I'm not from here? Like, he's like, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have, what did he say? I wouldn't have brought you if I had known she would have come. And I was like, wait a minute. You knew I was coming this weekend, so this is weird. Needless to say, he tried to smooth it over, gaslight me, whatever, and was just like, "No, you have nothing to worry about. I just want you to know, because she's not really left me alone," type thing. That's kind of where everything turned left, and I will say this: it's nothing to everyone else's story that I've heard, because mine is very light. It's just more of the psycho part of it that was really concerning to me. So I get back home, we FaceTime and this and that, and I get a message, unknown number, and says, "You need to leave my man alone." And I was like, "What?" So I deleted it and I blocked the number. And then I text him and I said, "Hey, I just got a message from somebody saying, leave my man alone. Like, are you in a relationship? What's going on?" And he's like, what was the number?" I said, "I don't know. I deleted it and I blocked it." And series of events happened to where she never stopped. Every number that I blocked gave her more ammunition to make another Google number, to text me, to do whatever. Because she then jumped in my DM on Instagram once she figured out who I was, because he tagged me in some pictures, um, which he still won't take down, but that's needless to say. She jumped in my DM from her page. "You leave my man alone, da 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 da. You ain't nothing but an ugly da da da." Like, going slap off. "If you ever come up here again, I'm gonna beat your, you know what?" And then I was like, "Bro, like, what is going on? Like, who is this chick?" So before I blocked her, I did look at her page and stuff, and I was like, she seems decent or whatever, based on everything that she had going on her page. And I was just like, why is this like happening? I'm like, this girl must be like out of her mind, because clearly I went to his house. He was living with his brother at the time. And there was like no female stuff there. So they couldn't have lived together if they were still together, type thing. And I'm just like, this girl is crazy. Like, why is she contacting me? I remember one of the messages that she said was, "You need to leave him alone." And I'm only telling you this because he got me. And so she proceeds to say, "He owes me money. He's nothing but a womanizer." Something else. And she's just like, "You just need to leave him alone." And so I literally screenshot a message and sent it to him. And he's like, "She's crazy. Don't believe her. Just keep blocking her," type thing.
I want to interject to say,
Okay.
A, I agree with him. She is crazy. But B, if he's all of these things and you want to warn me, why are you warning someone to leave them alone? It sounded to me like it. I can see how in this situation for a woman it would be confusing, because if he this bad, why you want me to leave him alone and he your man?
Yeah.
Like, if
And
it's this bad. So I can see
yeah,
how you can kind of be like, oh yeah, she crazy. Because
yeah.
why you want somebody that you trying to tell me is this womanizer and all of this stuff? Why you want them?
And so had she not sent me the other 40 messages before, I might have stopped to listen to her. But because she was so persistent on me initially, it turned me off of what she was actually trying to tell me, because it was more of, she was just trying to get me. And it was like, I don't even know
Mhm.
you. But I wasn't responding. I just kept blocking, and she would call in the middle of the night. It would just be random numbers. She would make it her business to make another number to call me. And this had been going on for, how long were we together? About 9 months. Like, genuinely, the whole time, every week, no matter if he was in town here or if he was upstate, she would find a way, either through my stories, his stories, a friend, what he was doing, where he was at. She even, one time he was here, we were both together. She called his number from a different phone number, um, saying, "Leave my woman alone," acting like a dude or whatever, trying to like sabotage me with him. And then 5 minutes later, she calls my phone and hangs up from, I can't remember if it's a different number or the same number, but she just kept calling, and we were like, we know it's her. We're literally sitting side by side, and she was going back and forth trying to like make numbers and call. I was like, listen, you need to figure this out. That same night, she texted me a picture of him with her in bed. He was asleep, and she got a picture of him in bed. Now, I asked him about it. I said, what is this? Like, why is she sending me that? And he said that it was an old picture. And I get it. I have old pictures. I get it. But to me, it was just kind of like, why is she doing this? Like, really, like, are you with her? Like, what is going on? Because I just couldn't understand. It's my first time with a stalker. I just could not understand why this girl kept like harassing me about him. So that was the one incident about the picture. Another trip, he came to my place. This was around holidays. I can remember. He came to my place for about a week, maybe. And this particular night, is when I actually caught him cheating. Not in the act, but based on what I did. So we were watching Aquaman. I remember it clear as day because I'm one of my favorite movies. And he was in his phone and he was laughing, and I was sitting kind of up on the bed, and we both were like nude because we was about to get done doing what we do. And I was like, there's nothing funny about this movie right now. Like, what are you laughing at? And he was still looking at his phone. He was like, nothing. I'm just gonna go to bed. And he placed his phone down. Mind you, the entire time, we've never had an argument. We've never had any bad moments of I'm mad at you type thing. And the one thing that I know that was very consistent with him was he's never hidden a phone call or message, and he never had a password on his phone. So he would always just leave his phone wherever to, I guess, show me that, he was not doing anything or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it was purposeful, but I don't know. I just remember watching how he responded when his phone rang. Like, if he got a text message, he'd just leave it. Blah, blah, blah. And so he placed it down. And I was like, he's never did that before. So I need to find out a way how to get in that phone. I was like, I think I got some NyQuil, I might a little spice, a little drink or whatever. But I didn't have to, because he had some Crown Apple, that brown to get him every time. But he drunk enough to where he got knocked out. Come here. He got knocked out cold, like sleep. And I went and grabbed the phone. I went into my other room in the house. And when I tell you, I went through message after message after message. This was not 1, 2, or 3 women. I mean, I was looking at messages like they're sending lingerie pictures. They're saying, come home, my son is not here. They're saying the back door will be open. They're saying, I miss you. When are you coming home? And I'm just like, I done been in his house. He don't live with no female. Like, what? Like all, like, it was that. My first instinct was just go in there and just like wake him up, which is what I did. I've never been in a situation before. I've never caught anybody actually cheating on me. And the thing that what really made me upset was at that time we were skin. We were skin, okay? That made me very disgusted, because I don't care about your life, but you don't care about mine. And at this point, now I'm very good at getting myself checked, but at this point, I done seen the extent of what you had going on in just a couple of text messages. I go in there, I turn all the lights, upstairs, downstairs. I don't know. I've never in my life had this experience. I didn't know how to react. I was bawling, I was screaming, I was like, get up, you gotta go now, you gotta get out now. He was just sitting there like, could you just come back to bed and we'll talk about this tomorrow? Like, he was genuinely on chill the whole time. And I'm pretty sure it was the alcohol, but he was definitely just like, please just come to bed, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And I was like, no, you need to get your stuff and get out now. So he was like sleepy, lagging, grabbing his stuff, and I was throwing his stuff in his bag. And I can't even remember what time it was. I know it was the middle of the night. I just know it had to be after midnight, to where he went downstairs and he's like, nobody's answering the phone, because his aunt lives here. He's like, nobody's answering the phone, I don't have anywhere to go. I was like, you can go in that other room until the morning when she answers the phone, and then you're gonna get out. And then I was just like, why? Like, why would you? Literally, you asked me, did I want to be in a committed relationship? And you are the one that's cheating. Like, why? You could have just left me alone. You could have left me to do whatever I need to do, like, genuinely. And you could have just been honest. You're not ready. Like, why would you ask me, of all people? And so I was just like, am I the side chick? Like, I didn't know what else to say. I was just like, you got all these women talking about you, they man, and what am I? Like, genuinely, and what got me too was the family was involved. They knew about everything. Like I said,
whoa, what? They knew about, like, all of y'all?
Yes, they knew about all of them. They knew about all. So the situation from that night, I was literally bawling. I was bawling. He was in the other room. The next morning, when it was time for him to go, I was like, so you ready to talk? Like, what's going on? Like, why would you do this? And he was like, I'm gonna just get my stuff and leave. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. I just can't control myself. Like, I was like, no, you meant for this to happen. Like, literally, why? You could have just left me alone. Like, genuinely, you got women up there you dealing with. And I know it ain't for, ain't for sex, because you got that. So why was you even, like, entertaining me? Like, I'm in a whole nother state. Like, you could just do your thing. And so he was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just go. He left to go to his aunt's house. They was like, yeah, just come over here. He goes over there to tell them the story. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was going to tell them the story. He calls me about an hour after he gets over there and says, hey, my aunt wants to see you. And I was like, for what? And he was like, just come, please. She wants to talk to you. And I was like, I'm not in the mood to talk to your family. Like, why am I going over there? He was like, just come, because she wants to talk to you. So I was like, fine, I'll be there. So I get over there. They had to cook this big meal, some goat and some other stuff. And I remember the conversation around promiscuity, adultery, these words, literally, not just the actions, but the actual words, infidelity, and how it is common in the men in their culture. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, why are we talking about this? Because it was a Sunday. I was like, why are we talking about this on a Sunday? This is not a dinner type conversation. So when she gets up to go in the kitchen, his aunt, he leans over and he says, they know. And I was like, they know what? And he was like, they know what happened last night. And I was like, why would you do this to me? Why would you bring me over here and embarrass me like this? You done told him whatever side you want to tell. And now I'm walking in a conversation about y'all family not being, like, loyal and stuff. And he's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know what else to do. They asked me what happened, why I was calling in the middle of the night, and I just told him. I was like, well, whatever. He was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I really want you. But I gotta get some help. And I was like, you should have told me you was a sex addict. I definitely would have left you alone. Like, I definitely would have left you whatever you was. And that's probably why you didn't tell me. So he was like, can I just get another chance? I said, for what? You not, like, you still that. I said, we cool, but we can't be committed right now. I said, I gotta get checked. I don't know what you're gonna do with your body, but I definitely gotta get checked because this is not cool. Like, you completely disrespected me in more than one aspect. I don't even care about cheating. I just care about my life. So about a month goes by, because this is like January. So about a month goes by, close to Valentine's Day. I remember it so well. Again, while all this going on, homegirl still doing her texts. I'm blocking, like, genuinely doing all this, blocking, blocking her from every angle. He invites me back upstate for Valentine's Day. And I remember distinctly, there's a mutual friend between him and me. It's his best friend, but me and her became close, and she's just like, he wants to talk to you. Just, just see what the weekend gonna be like, and just go from there. Again, they all on his side. I don't know why, but they was all on his side. And so I get up there. He got this whole weekend planned out, girl. Whole weekend planned out. Flowers, the trip to the mountains, to the cabin with his friends, like snow, like skiing, like that type of stuff. I had never skied before, like all of that type stuff. So I get up there and we go to the cabin. This is long, when I say long drive upstate. We do the little the skyline ride where you riding in the
yeah.
We do that. I'm posting in my story. 5 minutes later, I get a DM from another page. If you don't get out from out my state with my man, like, I'm literally still on the skyline ride, and I'm like, do you see this? Like, how does she know that I'm here? Like, what? Like, this is too much. So we get back to the cabin. We trying out some whiskeys, because it was one of those little towns that specialized and made their own little whiskeys or whatever. So we over there trying out stuff. But when we get back to the cabin from wherever that little town is, he gets out the car first. I don't know why something told me to look in the little compartment, the little armrest. I looked in the armrest. It was the biggest Magnum box of condoms. And I was like, okay, keep snooping, because this ain't it. Now, mind you, we still were not committed after that point. It was just, we were trying to see what was going to happen. So I was like, I need to know what's going on. Found the receipt. He had just bought them probably a couple of days before I got there.
It was not open.
They were open. They were open. They were definitely open. And I kept the receipt and put it in my purse, because I was like, I'm going to ask him about this, but I'm going to ask him when we're back in town, to where I know where I'm at and I can leave, because I didn't know where I was in the woods. And if something popped off, they weren't finna leave me out there with the bears and the wolves and the snow, because I did not know where I was going. So I was like, I'm gonna just wait. So we get in there, they playing some games or whatever, and it was time for everybody to go to bed. So we go in the room. I have my little lingerie or whatever, and he's like, it's on you tonight. And I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, it's on you. Like, I'm not gonna be doing no work. And I was like, oh, you really? Okay, it's not on me. He was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got somebody else to do it. And I was like, okay. So you basically got me up here to embarrass me again. Like, you just did all this nice stuff, and yet you still, like, over the smallest thing, and you literally just went off and told me that you got somebody else after this is the reason why we were no longer in a relationship anyway. So I'm just like, all right. I go to bed. I'm crying my eyes out. I probably didn't even get no sleep that night because I'm like, I want to get out of here. I don't even know where I'm at. Like, I'm literally like, even if I wanted to storm out of here with my stuff, I'd have nowhere to go because it was like those towns way in the woods, and it was scary at night. And so I'm like, I literally would die. I did not know what to do. So the next morning, we getting our stuff. He woke up. He was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It was the liquor, that type stuff. And I was like, listen, I just want to go. Like, I just want to go. So we get back to his place. And I find he dropped me off to go do something and then come back. I found a woman's makeup bag in his room. Girl, I FaceTime him. I was like, yo, what's this? And he's like, is my brother around? And I was like, no. He was like, okay, then I could tell you. And I was like, what? He was like, well, my brother and his girlfriend got into it and it kind of got physical. So I had to go outside and grab her and make sure she got home safe, and she forgot it. So I just put it in my room, and I didn't want him to see it and him have to get mad all over again. And I was like, over a makeup bag? Like, and he was like, yeah, it was just really ugly. And I just told her I'll give it to her later. And I'm like, okay, this is a new one. I've never heard that before. This is very new, but this is also another clue. So I was like, I'm over it right now. I'm just going to make this my last trip. I'm not probably going to talk to him again. And I should be done with old crazy girl. So what I did was I circled the date on there, on the receipt, because I was supposed to talk to him about it, but I didn't. Circled the date on the receipt, tagged it to his little bulletin board, and he got all his little stuff on. And circled what he bought. And then I tagged it up there. And so we were driving to, I'm still upset at this point. We were driving to the airport, and he was like trying to play some church music to get me out my little funk or whatever. And I was like, bruh, leave me alone. He was like, but this is like one of your favorite songs. What's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't even want to be around you right now. I don't care about music. Like, just take me to the airport. And so he called his friend, which is our mutual friend, and she was trying to talk me in. I was like, no, I'm leaving. I'm not staying another minute. So we get to the airport, bid farewells, and I was like, you're not going to talk to me again. You're not going to see me again. This is it. Like, I'm dead ass. So that was it. He was just kind of like, I mean, I have to respect that, I guess, but I really don't want to. It's not up to you. Yeah, call whoever, whenever, however. Mind you, I thought that was going to be the end of Stalker Girl. It was the end of him. I have to say this though. Before that, there was one moment. Magneto, please. I'm on a call. Sorry. There's a moment. I went to Jamaica in between this. I think it was before the Valentine's Day because it was cold and I just needed to get away with a friend. He calls me. This is very important too. He calls me and says, hey, I kind of need some help. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? He was like, I need some money. They repossessing my car. And I was like, okay, what I got to do with me? And so he was like, aren't you my girl? Like, you supposed to help me. And I was like, okay, but you know I'm out the country. Why are you calling? So my friend in the background, you bet not help him. You bet not help him.
Okay, I'm the friend.
So I'm like, oh God, how much is it? So he told me how much it was, and then it was well over $600. And because he hadn't been paying, he had been spending money trying to woo me to where he wasn't paying his bills or woo other women. Because
I can say you won more than
that
this. That man was woo.
And so he, but that wasn't the only kicker. The next kicker was his apartment. He was behind on his rent, and I'm like, you and your brother? So at the time, I did loan him some money. It was about 3,800 to be exact, to take care of all of that, because I was like, I just take care of it and pay me when you can. And he was like, you don't have to do this. And I was like, okay, well then, I mean, why are you calling if I don't have to do it? So he got mad because I said that and hung up the phone. And his sister called me and she's like, my brother's really upset. And I was like, well, first of all, he called me. I'm out the country and he's asking for money. So why is he upset with me? And I said, if he want anything from me, he need to get his attitude together, because I'm literally out of the country. Like, I didn't even know none of this was going on. And he's getting mad at me and it's not even my fault. So she had him call back and he's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you could just send me the money, I'll pay you back as soon as I can. So to my ignorance, I sent the money, but I sent it as under his nonprofit. So it was like a donation. So when we broke up, I literally had asked him for my money back. And he's like, no, I'm not giving you that money back. I said, you agreed that you were going to repay me my money. And he's like, no. Do you see what you put here? You put it as a donation, so I don't have to pay you back. And I said, okay. So I talked to his friend. I talked to his sister. I talked to his mama. And they all was like, we tried to talk to him, and he said that he wasn't going to pay you back. So I was like, all right, cool. The day that there was another event that I went to upstate that had nothing to do with him, but because the family knew I was there, his mom had asked to see me. Why did I go? I don't know. But I went and she wanted me to spend the night. She was like, you don't have to spend the night in a hotel. You can stay with me and save your money. And I was like, should I even do this? I said, your son gonna be there? She was like, no, he's not. He eventually came, but he left. And I was talking to her and his daddy. And this is what his mama told me. She was just like, I told him he needed to stop with all those other women and he needed to settle down with you. You're a good girl. You're nice. You're pretty. Like, I was like, but you knew this whole time. Like, you knew me. A bunch of stuff went down. Like, I sent the family Christmas gifts. Like, it just was a whole thing to where it pissed me off, to where I was just like, why y'all like this? Like, why y'all want me to be with him when y'all know he this way? This is weird to me. And the daddy was just like, yeah, he's probably mad because, you know, my situation, his dad had cheated on his mama and they got a little, at the time it was an 8-year-old sibling outside the wedding. And so he's like, he's probably just lashing out because what I did is mom, blah, blah. I was like, I don't care about none of that. That has nothing to do with me. I just didn't understand at the time why they were not giving me signals, and just like, even if they would have been mean to me, I would have took that as don't deal with your son. Like, but they were so welcoming, and so it was just a whole image that was painted that this was the right thing to do up until it wasn't. So long story short, moving past to the future about my money, he said he was gonna pay me. Still hear from old girl. I got hit up to do podcasts in LA. On the podcast, I was literally asked about this particular situation. At the time, it was fresh as an ex situation. And so I was telling it, and I was telling about the stalker. And I said, I'm going to say this. I can promise you, the moment she sees this, she's going to say something. She's going to reach out. I never mentioned a name. It was just the idea of her still lingering. And the guy was like, no, say a name. We want to know who she is. We want to, cuss her out or whatever. I said, no, I'm not going to do it, because I really feel like outside of this situation, she has stuff going on to where she just need to heal and do some other stuff. Man, the day he dropped it, she went and watched it, commented, keep my name out your mouth, when I clearly did not say her name, but she knew who I was talking about. From that, she just kept harassing me. And it was like she was looking for something. I was like, listen, I literally sent her a long message basically telling her, I completely understand why you're hurt. I get what you were saying earlier, but had you come to me in a different manner, I probably could have saved myself some time and you some headache, because I did experience what you experienced, but how you came at me was not womanlike. You were literally psycho about it. Like, you were harassing me, threatening me, and I don't even know you like that. I'm pretty sure you're a decent person. You need to focus on you and whatever. I can't do nothing about him owing you money, because now he owed me money and I'm trying to get mine back. So I can't do anything to help you in that sense. But I just know, black woman to black woman, get it together. Like, he ain't worth it. Clearly, if he doing this to women, he's not worth it. Like, just move on. What you've done these past months have been extreme, annoying, and just complete psycho. Like, you spent too much time trying to do something and he's still gonna do it to the next person. It's not you, it's not me, it's him. And I was like, please just focus on your business. Focus. It look like you got some stuff going on, but don't contact me no more, because I'm not even with him. I'm not with him no more. So please leave me alone. I probably heard from her one more time after that message. And then when she realized, no, sorry, let me backtrack. There's one incident she did before that, before I sent that message. She pulled a picture off of his Instagram with me and him, created a profile with me and him, and literally was going on each one of his posts, and every girl that liked something, she would DM them, curse them out, saying, that's my man, leave him alone, type. Like, every single female, she literally created a whole page with me and his picture on it and was like, that's my man, type. Like, that whole thing was just out of control. So then fast forward to my message to her, and I was like, please, I'm not with him no more, just whatever. So when I think it was like a week later, she realized there had been no exchange. I had unfollowed him, etc. And she was like, good, now I can have my man back, type thing. And I just blocked her. I was like, whatever. I didn't even respond, because I said what I need to say. I don't want anything else to do with him or you or that family. Like, genuinely, I still am acquaintances with our mutual friend, but she knows. One of the things I wanted to say about that was everything that happened after I caught him and all of that. She said, Elo, I know you're not lying, because everything you said, he said it. And I talked to you after I talked to him. So he's basically telling me the truth of what you're saying. It's just he doesn't know how to control it. And I was like, I don't even care. I just want to know why nobody say nothing when y'all knew this. Like, nobody. So I guess in hindsight and reflecting on the lesson that I've learned specifically, if a man is that much into FaceTiming and trying to be in your space and making sure you okay, it ain't really that. It's basically to see where you at so he can do whatever he doing. Because when I say the moment, every time I turned around, he was FaceTiming me. Hey, I'm at my mama's house. Say hey, y'all. And then it was like, you FaceTime me everywhere. You still had time to do this. Now, one week you was tired, at work, because you literally FaceTime me at home. You about to go to sleep. You FaceTime me. You about to take a shower. That was all to make me comfortable with not questioning him. And that's a red flag. When I ain't asked you to do that and you constantly, like 4 times a day at minimum, to be honest with you. In the middle of the day, what you doing? What you gonna get to eat? Like, I've never asked a man to FaceTime me, let alone that many times. And I specifically was like, you don't have to do this. It all showed me he was doing that because what he didn't want me to do, he was doing. He didn't want me to be cheating because we were in, two different states, but he was doing it, and he just wanted to make sure that he checked in so I wouldn't be checking in when he was with his other women. Another thing is lending money when it really ain't required. It just don't do it. Don't don't do it. You ain't gonna get it back. If you get it back, Godspeed, but don't do it. And definitely not the amount that I did. Because I'm still paying on that. But and then families don't care. Because they gonna be loyal to their family. They don't care at all. This was an experience that I could have, if I had my own tribe, if I had my own circle. But at the time, I wasn't really talking to anybody. I just moved, and I was just trying to find new people to connect with. And this just happened to be our one of the things we shared was hip hop, like I started out before, because he wrote a book about certain things, certain aspects of hip hop, and our mutual friend got me into the rap battles. Got me really heavily onto the rap battles and things of that nature. So it was just kind of like we kind of connected from music and stuff. But yeah, anything that come up that make you question anything, like I probably should have seen some signs before, but I didn't. It's just one of those things where it was a lesson, and it was a pretty rough one, like mentally and financially. So,
Okay. So it wasn't even, I mean, on top of a crazy ex, he got a crazy ex.
yes. So it was like a 2 for 2.
So for me, the minute I realized you got a crazy ex, that's a red flag on both of y'all for me. So because I got to deal with you and your old situation, baby, you go deal with it. Cause we not gonna deal with this together, and you clearly not dealing with it on your own. That would have been my out, right? I'm gonna give you one phone call to hello Barbara, this is Shirley. After that one hello Barbara, this is Shirley, if he don't put the fear of God in you about bothering me, you can have him. Because that should have been his immediate response. Let me go on, and you need to do it in front of me. You don't get to do this on your own time. In front of me, or if you live long distance, this is now a 3-way phone call that's taking place, and you finna handle this to my liking, not to yours. If I got to give you a script, it's happening. Anything after that, baby, go on about your business. I can't do
that. That was definitely, and I've heard stories about that, but when I was in it just wasn't clicking for me, because it's like, he's this nice guy. Like, maybe she is crazy, because I hadn't experienced, and we weren't around each other a lot because, again, it was long distance. So it was just kind of like a lot of our conversations were over the phone until we flew in to see each other. And so it's one of the reasons why I don't like long distance, because it's so many aspects, and it's not because of it's only trust. It's just so much that can happen just within a day's time, not even months. But it was just I don't know why I altogether dealt with that. I really don't. That was my first time dealing with a crazy ex that consistently, if I could count up every email, because she also emailed, every phone number, every IG page, this girl spent some time over 9 months, some time into.
See, I would have filed harassment charges at this after the second time. Let me go and press charges on you because you're doing a lot. Let me put the law in your life.
Like it was, oh my goodness. I just, yeah. If the very first message you get from a crazy ex, run.
Now I'm gonna let you try to fix it because some people do just be crazy. Some people you could be doing absolutely nothing. They just a fool. So I'm gonna let you get one off. After that, either you pressing charges or I am. Which one? Because if it ain't you, we got a problem. And if you got a problem, because I'm about to do it, we got a problem. And as far as like, I'm with you. Don't lend out money, especially if it's money you can't afford to lend. And I'm this type of person. My mouth smart. The minute he would have said, I need money for XYZ, baby, you slinging that peen and you ain't making no money from it, my boy. I'm gonna need you to do it for a profit. If you get behind on bills, I'm gonna need you to change your tactics and use that meat to get the means. The minute I find out you cheating, whatever you need, they got it.
And see, at the time when I was in Jamaica, I didn't know he was cheating.
Oh,
yeah, okay. That was before I found out.
Well, either way, that's still irresponsible. It's you whining and dining and you broke. Baby, don't whine and dine. I would much rather a man say to me, I would like to do this with you. Yeah. Unfortunately, my finances don't allow. So can we do this, which is cheaper and in my budget in the meantime? Yeah. I would love to see you every other weekend. Unfortunately, I got once every other month see you money. So I'm going to have to see you once every other month. Like, I would much rather that because that means you're financially responsible in the relationship, or I would rather you just say, I can't really afford a date right now, but I like you. And I say, well, baby, when you can afford a date, call me. Date in your zip code.
Yeah. Like I said, at the time, I didn't know a lot of stuff. I was just fresh on dating outside of the church, to be honest with you. It's no better, but the fact that it was a new thing for me to even date long distance, I didn't think about any of that. I was just like, let's just see how it goes. And the gifts that I sent, the just things over time, it was a valuable, hard lesson, like genuinely. Like I discuss myself sometimes when I be like, girl, you was really down and out. Because ain't no way today this one would have did what I did then. Like genuinely, knowing what I know now, and even with just me and understanding who I am, made a huge difference from then. And just letting me play with me. So yeah. Definitely a couple of red flags.
Well, we know them now, and history will not repeat itself. I applaud you for getting on out of there. Just going ahead and exiting stage left and letting her swoop on in to get her man. As she say, get her leading man. That's going to lead her down the path of destruction, clearly. Because it don't seem like he was ready to change.
No, not at all. Especially not after me. And after, I did forget this part. We had a conversation because he had heard that I was still saying that he owed me money from that podcast that I did in LA. And his friend set up a Zoom so that we could talk about it. And I said, I'm not talking about anything unless he's going to tell me he's giving me my money back. And so she said, she set up a Zoom call. We got on Zoom. I wasn't saying anything. He's just like, can we pray? And I was like, let's get this on with. So he proceeds to pray, and he starts.
Baby, you prayed enough. PREY, sir.
Exactly. And he starts out, yeah, so I understand that you still think that I owe you money. And I said, no, you do. And he's like, Elo, I don't owe you any money. And I'm like, you do owe me money. That was the agreement. And if we're not here to talk about you paying me back, I don't want to be here. And I said, honestly, I don't feel like our relationship issues and this, would stop me from being acquainted with you until you paid me back. Like, I don't want to talk to you about anything other than my money. Now, once you make me whole, we can have a conversation and possibly be cool, but there's no you and me. I just want my money back. And he's like, I said, you know what, better yet. I just went and customized, told him he gonna be broke forever, and then got off the Zoom because I was just I was not trying to hear nothing else he had to say. So the friend called me back. She was like, "Oh my God, Elo, you called him broke." I said, "Because he is, and I want my money." That was the last conversation I had with him and her, to be honest, because she still hit me up every now and then, but that was like the last conversation about that. But I was just like, bruh, he really feels like he's not gonna pay me back, so I've already written it off, and I'm getting it back in other means. So I'm not. I just don't have any dealings with him no more, like at all.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. It has been a riveting 57 minutes. I really, really appreciate it. I hope someone that is listening and watching learned something today. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Did you want to say anything before I close us out?
Yes. I have a couple of things on Tubi and Peacock and Hulu. The first one is Pressure, spelled Pressurx, like RX as in pharmacy. That's a series that I play a nurse in. And then the second one is The Perfect Mother. That's also on Tubi and Peacock, Hulu, etc. And then a short film that I did, Off the Grid, that's on YouTube. So you guys check me out. And if any producers, cast, and directors looking, I'm your girl. I do it all the time, and I'm a comedian. So if anybody needs a clean comedian, I'm here too.
All right, but there you have it. Follow her on social media. Give me an IG.
It's my name at IAMELOCOPELAND, and that's on all platforms.
All right, follow her on all social media, and thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. Whoo, y'all, that was another good one. So follow her on social media. Make sure you follow us on all social media at Nightmare on X Street. If you'd like to be a guest, hit me up either on the Nightmare on X Street podcast page or email nightmareonxstreetpod@gmail.com. Again, that's nightmareonxstreetpod, POD, @gmail.com. And I will see y'all later on the next episode with some other lady who has some other story. Be safe out there and don't fall for the okie doke.